Hey guys, Sean here. Welcome to the F1 Word and to the preview for the 2023 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the second race of the new season. Very much looking forward to this one, as is the case with most races, to be fair. Maybe a bit of bias there, but there is still so much to learn about where everyone is and lots to look forward to. But for now, let's crack on with the preview. So last time out, F1 was in Bahrain when Max Verstappen and Red Bull got their campaign off to I think it's fair to say, pretty dominant start. But now it is on to the Jeddah Corniche circuit for round 2 of the season. This weekend's race will be the third running of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the first, of course, taking place at the back end of 2021. And for those interested, this will be the second time the track has hosted round 2 of the championship. A lap of the track at Jeddah is 6.175 kilometers long, that is, if you prefer, just over 3.8 miles, and is made up of 27 corners, some more cornery than others. Cornery is not a word, we'll go with it anyway, with 50 racing laps scheduled for Sunday, and the race lap record is held by Lewis Hamilton, who posted a 1:30.734 in 2021. There will once again be 3 DRS zones this year, with the first running between turns 19 and 22, the second from just before turn 25 to turn 27, the final corner, with the last zone running down the start-finish straight. However, it is worth noting that the detection point for that final zone has been moved from just before the entry to the last corner to the exit, so we may not be seeing any of the games we saw last season between Verstappen and Leclerc. I mean, assuming anyone can actually keep up with the Red Bulls this weekend, but still. There may well be some gamesmanship going on, though, as I can't really imagine many will want to overtake into 27 if it means they risk being repassed again by turn 1. And those are the two main overtaking opportunities around the track, with Aston Martin saying that those two corners alone, that's 1 and 27, account for 89% of all passes at the circuit to date. There have also been some changes to the circuit for this one, with the walls at turns 14 and 20 being moved back, and the fence walls at turns 8 and 10 have been adjusted, all of that to help with driver visibility. The chicane at turns 22 and 23 has been slightly tightened, and it is expected that will reduce speeds around that section by between 30 and 50 kilometers an hour. There have also been some changes to the curbs around the track, including some of them being given a smoother gradient to help with the stability of the cars. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix CEO Martin Whittaker told the F1 Nation podcast that the steel plates on the inside of some of the corners had also been removed as, quote, the concrete barriers are effectively edged to go around a corner, so they have shoulders. So actually, the FIA said, no, we're quite happy with those. Let's remove the steel plates. We've removed those from 6 corners. And from the 2 races at the track so far, we have had 2 different pole sitters, Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez, and 2 different winners, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. The Dutchman taking victory last season, leading home Charles Leclerc after another great battle between the two of them. And the second Ferrari of Carlos Sainz was third in a race where just 13 drivers made it to the checkered flag on Sunday. So to confirm, that is 2 races at the track with 2 different pole sitters and 2 different winners. That's 3 lots of 2s. And as I'm sure you know, 3 2s are 6. And do you know what's really amazing about that? 6 is also the number of dry tyre compounds available in the Pirelli range. Yes, it is that time again. It's tyre talk time. The compounds available this weekend are towards the middle of that range, and they are the hard C2, the medium C3, and the soft C4. The circuit has a medium level of grip, but as Pirelli points out, the sand blown onto the track surface can influence that. The surface isn't too abrasive though, so we are more likely to see a one-stop race in Jeddah than last time out in Bahrain, and that's what we saw in 2022, with Max Verstappen starting the race on the medium tyre, pitting under the safety car on lap 16, and then completing the rest of the race on 1 set of the hard compound. It is a night race, so as was the case in Bahrain, FP1 and FP3 will be held in the daytime, and so the track temperatures could be up to 10 degrees hotter than the more representative FP2 session set to be held on Friday evening, and of course qualifying and the race. The safety car is featured at each of the races in Jeddah so far. No great surprise given its high-speed nature and the fact it's a street race. We've also seen a lot of virtual safety cars across the 2 years, so both of those could play a big part in strategy, as could red flags with the race in 2021 featuring 2 of them. The fastest pit stop last year was by McLaren, as they managed a 2.41 second stop for Ricciardo on lap 8 for a total pit lane loss time of just over 20.6 seconds. And looking at the data for all the stops, the overall pit lane loss time is between 20.5 and 21.5 seconds. We have yet to see a rain-affected race at the circuit, and at time of recording that looks set to be the case again this year with a warm and dry weekend forecast, with highs for qualifying currently expected to hit 27 degrees, and the race itself isn't too far off that, with highs of 26 degrees in time for lights out expected. No rain is forecast as of Wednesday afternoon, and to be honest, I doubt that's going to change. And your schedule for this weekend's event is a mix of afternoon and evening times if you are in Europe. FP1 kicks things off on Friday at 1:30 p.m. GMT with the second practice session starting at 5 p.m. FP3 is the first F1 session on Saturday, and that is from 1:30 p.m. Again, all three sessions will be 1 hour long, with qualifying underway from 5 p.m. later on Saturday afternoon. And it is lights out for the race on Sunday from 5 p.m. and once again, that is in UK time. Now, still to come, I'll make my Saudi Arabian Grand Prix predictions, but before we get to those, there are a few things I want to mention ahead of this weekend's action. First up, Max Verstappen is not expecting an easy task in Jeddah despite Red Bull's domination in Bahrain. The world champion points out the track is completely different, but he does still think his team can have a strong car this weekend, something I'm sure will delight some fans and some of the media who have all been doom and gloom following the opening race of the season. Verstappen does also have his say on the changes to the circuit, admitting that it was definitely dangerous in some areas, they're his words, and hopes the changes have made a difference in terms of visibility. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz has said that he's expecting Ferrari to be more competitive in the coming races, telling Autosport that Bahrain is the most extreme track of the year when it comes to degradation, and so he is confident the team can play a better game at other circuits. Hopefully for Ferrari, that starts in Saudi Arabia. On that note, and sticking with Ferrari, team boss Frederic Vasseur has confirmed that Charles Leclerc will take a grid penalty in Jeddah this weekend. A reminder, this is only the second race weekend of 23. Ahead of the race in Bahrain, Ferrari found an issue with Leclerc's control electronics and took the decision to replace it with a new set. However, Leclerc's race ended early as he suffered a loss of power, and it was later confirmed that the control electronics were once again to blame. The unit was analysed back in Maranello between races, and following that, Vasseur has said that the electronics will have to be replaced again, and so Leclerc will get a 10-place grid drop on Sunday. The Ferrari boss explaining essentially that because they only have a pool of 2 control electronics for the season, they need to put another one into the mix. Bad news for Charles Leclerc then. Hopefully he can recover well and pick up some points in the race, but a really tough start to the season. And super quickly, actually, Toto Wolff has said that Mercedes will have some small developments on their car this weekend. However, he insists they will not be game changers for the team, but they can at least start moving them in the right direction. To be fair, though, most teams will bring something this weekend, so keep an eye out for that when they all do their pre-event show and tell thing. And finally, for this part, F1 has confirmed that the Austrian Grand Prix will remain on the calendar until at least 2027 after a new 4-year deal with the race promoter was agreed. The race, which returned to the calendar in 2014, will remain at the Red Bull Ring, and in a statement released this week, Stefano Domenicali said that the race in Austria brought together the perfect mix of a challenging track, high-speed racing, and a beautiful venue for F1 fans, adding that he is delighted the race is staying. He went on to thank everyone involved in the renewal and paid tribute to Dietrich Mateschitz for, quote, the love, passion and vision he brought to Formula One that has ensured the continued success of the event and the huge enthusiasm for our sport in Austria and around the world. Right then, time for me to make some predictions, and as always, do not take these too seriously, for goodness sake. They are just a bit of fun, and you can let me know your picks for the weekend in the comment section down below. And last time out, I actually did all right. I know I'm as shocked as you are. 5 out of 7 right, including pole winner and Alonso's podium and race finishers. Not a bad start to 2023 for me, although that does mean it's only downhill from here, so there is that, yeah. For Saudi Arabia, though, not too much of a shock here. I think Red Bull will be the team to beat again. Sure, the track is very different to Bahrain and things could be closer, but I seriously doubt that advantage has disappeared in the space of 2 weeks. It's Aston Martin that are the team that intrigue me the most, though, because according to people who are much better at reading into these things than I am, Jeddah is expected to be a better track for them. Then again, some other experts are saying the same about Ferrari, and I don't know how much of that is genuine and how much is just the media trying to build tension and excitement for this one. As I touched on earlier, though, with the track being a bit less demanding on tyres, that may well mean the degradation issues Ferrari suffered within Bahrain are reduced, and that could bring them back into play. The truth is, though, you never can be sure this early in the season, especially with the tracks varying so much. But anyway, I guess my point is that even though we've had one race, it still is only one race, and there's still a lot of guessing going on here. I am going to go once again with Max Verstappen for pole position on Saturday and say he will take the win on Sunday. There's a good possibility it will end up being another Red Bull 1-2, but Jeddah is a street circuit, and with safety cars, a strong possibility it could open up the door for others. As for the others, I will go somewhat bold and say Aston Martin's pace is genuine, and Fernando Alonso takes advantage of that and a good strategy to take P2, and also work on the assumption that Ferrari has a better weekend, their tyres don't fall apart and they don't suffer more reliability issues. Wow, that's a lot of assumptions. And go with Carlos Sainz for P3, but add that he will be very close to Alonso come the end of the race, potentially a race-long battle between the two Spaniards. Looking at best of the rest, which I will return to being the fourth fastest team this weekend, I'm picking Mercedes, just because I think they have an advantage over the rest of the field, but they're not quite close enough to the top three. I will, though, to make it a bit more interesting, go with Alpine for fifth fastest, and that leads me on nicely to my bolder predictions for this week, which are Pierre Gasly breaking into the top 7 on Sunday. Oscar Piastri, I'm going to say, will out-qualify Lando Norris. That actually feels very bold now I've said it out loud, but there we go. And Alex Albon, thanks to that slippery Williams, will sneak it into Q3 on Saturday. Overall, though, I hope we have a good fight at the front, which, by the way, doesn't mean anything more than I just want to see close competition at the front. I appreciate most of you understand that, but one or two people who choose to hear what they want to hear are going to argue and say that I hate certain drivers. But there we go. Welcome to the internet, Sean. If we can't have that, though, then hopefully we at least get a great scrap behind and throughout the midfield. Fingers crossed, though, for a great race on Sunday. That is it, though, for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix preview. But don't forget, you can let me know your thoughts and your predictions ahead of the weekend in the comments section down below. Now, I will be back soon with another video, and I will also be live, as always, shortly after the race on Sunday with the usual reaction stream. In the meantime, though, if you did enjoy this one, then please do leave a like, because it really does help the channel out, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.